Anybody else before we get started? Can you make me a admin, Emily?
Like to screen share?
Yeah.
You can. You should be able to.
Okay, hang on. It looks a little different. Okay, here we go. All right, close your eyes. Don't look at my screen. I don't know what's going to pop up for a second. Oh my gosh. Okay. Actually, close your eyes. I'm at the very end. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Okay. Y'all, I'm really excited about this topic. It makes me a little bit nervous to talk about this topic, and I think it's because this really is one of the hardest parts that I have found in this business, because I love people. Like, I see what you can do, and I want to just like jump inside your body and just like do it for you sometimes, because I see what you can do, and it is the hardest part about what we do. Watching someone choose to do something less than what we know that they're capable of. But if that is their choice, we have to learn how to love them and encourage them and celebrate them at the pace that they want to go. And that is a very hard lesson that I have had to learn. And we're going to talk about it tonight. And I'm probably going to be sweating the whole time just because I'm like, I don't know why this topic makes me so uncomfortable, but I'm also super passionate about it. So what is a walker, jogger, and a runner? And I would love for y'all to unmute yourself. If you're like, well, I think a jogger is this. Y'all tell me what you think a walker might be. We'll start with walker. What might define someone that is a walker in their business?
Like a hobbyist?
Yep, what a hobbyist do. Okay.
A walker probably isn't doing an IPA sheet often.
Okay, not using systems, not using their, not doing their IPA. Okay, what else? There's no dumb answers here. I really want to hear from you guys, especially if you're gold or senior gold.
I feel like they always like give a red light story, like always an excuse.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on what Kinsey said, the casual share. I was just thinking in regards to social media, they probably aren't sharing much. And if they are, they probably have that post and pray method where they're not reaching out to the people who liked their things and commented on their things.
Yes. And if somebody's writing these down, that would be awesome, because I'm trying to, but I know I'm going to miss some. And I can't see the chat because my screen is shared, but that's for sure. Okay. What might be a jogger? Like a differentiator between like what might a jogger be doing or not doing?
Hey, Jordan, you can't read the chat, so I'll read it. Just going back to the walker, someone said someone who takes the products but is quiet about it, and then they aren't self-motivated to share and have to constantly be led.
For sure. Yes, those are really good, you guys. Spot on. What about a jogger? And I'm gonna be honest here. When I'm gonna show y'all a list here in a minute. And when I was making that list, I was like, man, I'm a jogger in some areas sometimes. Like, and I'm just gonna be super honest with y'all. So what might a jogger be?
I think a lot of time joggers are only motivated like extrinsically with like incentives or like the carrot dangles. Yeah.
Yep. I hear crying. I'm not sure if it's people in my backyard or my kid. Keep going.
I'm not sure if others would agree with this, but I kind of see it as like somebody, oh yeah, like what Hannah just said, emotional roller coaster mindset battles for sure. And I think with that comes like moments of sprinting, like trying to go really hard, really fast, and then like a burnout kind of thing, and then slowly like fades away, like they're trying to find that balance, but is always sort of back and forth.
Yeah. And I think the root of that might be there's no vision there. So it's like, let's just go really fast. Let's get the thing but they're not seeing that like 1 year, 5 year like view of like legacy business type mindset, you know?
I think people who don't believe in themselves fully that they actually can do it, and they're not like super consistent. They don't prioritize the business. I feel like the joggers, just like, I'm sorry, I don't remember which one of you said that, but just like do it sometimes, but don't do it all the time, kind of make excuses, but they're involved, but they haven't made it their priority with their business.
Yeah. And I think part of that is maybe they don't make personal growth a priority because we know that that is something that really keeps us focused on those things. And so that's probably another one is maybe they may do some personal growth, but it's definitely not consistent. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm going to move on and I'm going to show y'all what the runners look like here in just a minute. But we really want to focus on our walkers, right? Because all of you guys are runners here and we're going to focus on how we handle and love on those walkers. So why might somebody be walking? Why might they choose to walk instead of jog or run in this business?
They don't have vision.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Requires time. Why might someone, because I actually wrote this down on here because I knew time was going to come up. And I said being too busy is not a reason to walk. It's just an excuse to not do more. So like, what might the root of that actually be? If someone's like, well, I don't have time. What is the root of that?
They're not organized. They're not managing their time enough. Their time wisely.
Yes. Prioritizing for sure. And maybe they're not prioritizing because they don't have a vision, right? So like, I think it's like very full circle here. Lack of belief for sure. I wrote that one down.
They're not,
yeah.
they're treating it like a hobby. So they don't have like work hours. They don't look at it like if I work and have a focused time, then it's going to be actual business. They're just throwing it in there whenever they can fit it. So again, back to priorities, time management, organization.
Yeah, for sure. Chandler Sanderson is really good about talking about gratitude and just like, you know, being just super grateful for what she gets to do and when she gets to do it. And so I think maybe a gratitude check, which honestly, sometimes that goes back into pride, which for me, when I'm prideful, it's because I'm scared of change and I'm not in control. And so I think so much of this goes in like very full circle. Unsupportive community for sure. Okay, anything else y'all can think of?
I kind of have an idea, and I'm feeling a little bit weird about maybe saying it, but I think that
I'm feeling weird about saying the whole thing. So
but I think a lot of times too, people have that like perception of time and like prioritizing and things like that. And so what happens is they do a lot here and there, and they feel like they're working really hard and they're working a lot, and then not a lot is coming from it because there's no consistency or organization, and their mindset's not really in the right place when they're doing those things. So then they feel like there's this expectation that stuff should be happening and it's not. And then it sort of goes back to that gratitude, like you just said. So that's what made me think of it.
For sure. And I bring this up, you guys, not for somebody to be like, well, crap, that's me. And if this is you, we love you. And here's your tools to get out of it. But I bring this up because it's so important for us to understand when we're talking to these people, for us to be able to have grace and love for someone. It's so much easier when we understand where they're coming from so that we can help them through it, or we can just love on them and let them stay there while we move and run and do the thing. Okay. So it was so funny. We were on I think it was in our Ruby thread, and somebody was like, I think it was Brittany Duke. She was like, we need a checklist for this walker, runner, jogger thing. I was like, okay. So we just kind of made this, and then we're like, okay, I think this is like good. I think this is like works. And so I'm sharing this with you guys mainly so that I can send y'all, you don't have to take a screenshot or anything. I can send y'all the big, like the graphic, but this just gives you an idea of how to identify your walkers. Okay. They probably don't know a lot of the virtual office. They're probably coming to you with lots of questions, because if they knew the virtual office, let's be real here, they would be pumped to do this business, because once you get it, it's like, how can you not, right? Personal growth is a priority. That was touched on earlier. Consistent messaging, that was touched on earlier. Notice that doesn't say adds 5 a month or adds 3 a month. That just says they're consistently in activity. There's a difference. Okay. Goal setting, that's part of this, that's part of knowing where you're going. Shows up to team calls and challenges. We all know that we are the lids to our team. And so when we're going to show you how to message your walkers here in a little bit, about those kinds of things. But if someone's not showing up, y'all, they're not in it. I love you, but they're not in it. Using systems, that was touched on earlier. Connecting with teammates, the culture, that was touched on earlier. The mindset was definitely touched on. And then having a balance, and that was touched on several times. Having a balanced day, setting priorities. And so y'all don't even need this list. You already knew the list. This is one I wanted to talk about for a second. So how do you love them? How do you love on these people that you see what they're capable of? You know. I will never forget the day I signed this girl. Her name starts with an A, and I just knew she'd be a diamond. I did not know her at all, y'all. I drove to her house in Texas. It was one of the very first times I'd ever done, like, sat with somebody and talked the business with someone. I drove to her house, sat there with her for almost 2 hours. I showed her all the info sheets. I showed her all of her resources. I poured massive belief into her. Hang on just a second. I'm going to tell my kids too. Okay, sorry. Anyway, long story short, she ended up quitting. And now I love her. I still love her. I am still her friend. I still believe she could be a diamond if she wanted to, but she doesn't want to right now. So I'm going to do these things. Okay. Be their friend and ask about their family. Y'all, we are humans. We are in the business of humans and people and relationships. And number one priority is to be a human with them. And so my encouragement to you is, if you have somebody that has stopped the business or they're not running anymore, you can still love on them. You can still be their friend, know their kids' names, ask how they're doing, send them chicken noodle soup whenever they're sick, because you're still their friend. Okay. So that is very important to remember. Sometimes you got to take your business hat off, be a person. You can treat them like a product taker. You guys, I have had girls that have been in seasons where they could not touch their business. They didn't touch their business. And I treat them like a product taker in those seasons, because I'm not going to sit there and be like, Marissa, you're not on the team call. Marissa, you're not on the team call. Get on the team call. Because that's going to do what? If I just sit there and I'm like, you're not here, you're not here, you're not doing this, I'm telling her what she's not doing, what she's not showing up. What is that doing for her? Y'all can unmute and tell me.
Pushing her away.
Pushing her away for sure, because I am causing what? I'm causing her to feel what?
Shame.
Shame, 100%. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Lauren Davis and I actually share the same brain. We think the same, like 99% of the time. So I'm not surprised that you were able to read my mind on that. I don't want to do that. Okay. So treat them like a product taker, put them back in the walker category, not in the runner category where they used to be. It's going to be okay. Sharing incentives and challenges with them. I missed a bullet point, but it's fine. That is not surprising. I love to just tag people and be like, hey, listen, I don't know if you want this, but if you do, I'm here for you, right? So making sure that they still know that you believe in them. Here's what's happening. If you want it, I'm here. But if you don't, I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and like make a plan in my head for you that you don't want, right? Okay. So tagging them and say, oh, I put that twice. It's very important, obviously. I can't wait to see you on tonight's team call. I've done this a lot. Jessica Heffley taught this to me a long time ago. She said, when you message someone, don't sit there and be like, are you going to be on tonight's call? Just send them a message that assumes they're going to do the thing that is going to be best for them and their business and their team. And that might look like saying, I can't wait to see you on tonight's team call. Let's catch up after and let's talk about our favorite parts. Or Maybe there's a challenge or an IPA challenge going on in your team page. Hey, I just did day one. It was kind of hard for me. How was day one for you? Not, did you do it? Did you watch the video, right? So it's very different. But I don't know if you noticed that or not, you guys, it starts with me. I can't go to them and like rise them up if I haven't done it first. Tap rooting, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But tap rooting is one of my favorite things to do, because as somebody told me a long time ago, it's not who you know, it's who you know and who they know. And I believe that. I really do, because you know what, your level ones, that it's likely that they will go through a season and you will have to taproot, which basically means that you are going into your level 2s and 3s that maybe they have already signed, and you are treating them like they're your level 1. Y'all, I will work with anyone who wants to run in this business. If I have a level 5 who says they want to be a diamond, I will pour into them like a level 1, because I want this for anyone who wants it. Okay. Be ready for them to come back and celebrate when they do. We are not in the business of shaming people. We are not in the business of saying, well, here's what you missed. Could add the $2,000 shopping spree if you weren't sitting at home chilling. Okay. That's not how we do this. We have a community of people who love you. We're like the prodigal son over here, right? Come back. We love you. We'll give you some hugs and we'll get you plugged in. Build their belief and remind them why they are good at this. This was mentioned earlier a lot, how if they are a walker, it's likely that their belief is not built. So I like to build their belief in a few different areas. Products and business are obviously the first two, and then themselves. I can't build their self-confidence, but I can compliment them and encourage them and celebrate them when they do one thing right. You guys, if my walker shows up to a team call, like, sure, I'll make a post about it on a team page. Heck yeah, I'll do that. If we got on a Zoom and they were willing to do that and they sent one message, I'm going to celebrate that like it's Christmas, because it's a big deal. Provide opportunities for them to re-engage. That kind of goes back to like tagging them in incentives, but more so it's more like, hey, listen, I was thinking about you today. This team call we've got going on tonight, I really feel like would be really fitting for you. And I just wanted to invite you, and I'd love to see you on tonight. And that's it, right? So providing opportunities for them to get back into it. All right. Does anybody have questions about this list? Most of y'all are probably like, I already know this. I already do this, but maybe it's just a good reminder. Anybody have questions? Okay. This is the fun part. Are y'all ready for this?
I do have a question. I couldn't.
Oh, hold on.
I couldn't unmute myself fast enough. Can you hear me?
There you are. Okay.
So, like on your last slide.
Everybody close your eyes.
On your last slide, when you said like tag them in incentives post, or, can't wait to see you on tonight's team call. Are you sending that to individuals, or are you sending that to like your thread? And are you sending it to the individuals? Like, let's say you've got somebody that is like all talk but no action. Are you continually doing that? Or is there a point when you say, okay, they can read, like, I don't need to be the one parenting them. If they want to be here, they can do that themselves.
Yeah. So I will handhold people to a certain extent, but your time is precious as a leader. So for me to tag someone in a post about a team call takes me literally 0.5 seconds. So I'm like, okay, I can rise them up, and that way it's going to take me 5 seconds. For a little while, I'll individual message them and say, hey, I hope you get on tonight, especially if they're newer and just making them comfortable. But if they've been here a while, then yes, you can read, you can do the thing. I'm not going to sit there and get on a phone call with you for 3 hours, because I love y'all and we love them, but we cannot do that. We have to protect our time and spend the most of our time with our top 20%. And they have chosen to not be in that top 20% yet. They can be. Absolutely, one day they can be. We're going to talk about that later. Does that help? Okay. Okay, so we grab some messages And again, y'all, we are just helping you identify walkers. So when you see messages like this, it's like, this is a walker, okay? And you need to know this because you need to protect your time. So if you go to somebody and you're saying, doing 30-minute Zooms this week to talk goals and get some work in, what day are you available? First of all, I love that question. I know who sent this. I love the way she sent that. Do y'all see how she didn't just say like, do you want a coaching call? No, she assumed they wanted the thing that she knows is going to be best for their business. Depends on what time. Basketball season leaves us with no nights at home. We already talked about this. Our walkers will make excuses. They will, y'all. This is not important to them yet. They don't understand it yet. So she shifts, she pivots. Okay, let's do a morning call. Let's go. Heck no. Okay. So how would somebody respond to a message like this? If you got them that message back, how would you, as a leader, someone that knows they're probably going to say no, I gave it a really good shot, I'm not giving up, how would you respond to this in a way that's like, okay, I know we're not getting the coaching call, but I'm not giving up on them for future? How would y'all respond? I'm just curious. Somebody unmute and tell me what your thoughts are.
I might even ask them, like, what time do you get up? I might even do that just to like get them to see like there is a way to fit it in. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to be really honest, like Callie put in the chat, is I tend to say, you know where to find me. And so I'm open to suggestions.
I think that it depends on at what point this conversation has fallen. Like, is this the first time that person has said, no, I can't? Or is this a continual thing? I think that you're going to respond differently. I think if this is a first time thing, then I think it is important to say, like, listen, like, I totally get that. Like, I know that there are crazy seasons of life because just like Jordan said, we do not shame people. And we know that, like, we want people to give us grace and we have crazy seasons. And so I think I would go about it like asking questions, like, totally hear that. I understand life is super crazy. You know, I know that you had talked to me, a few weeks ago about how you were interested in learning more about the opportunity. Is this still something that you're interested in learning about? I really think that you would do amazing here. I think like asking questions and like trying to gauge where she actually is before saying peace out. But I do think that if this is like a continual thing, then absolutely, like, all right, well, I believe in you. And when and if you're ever ready to do this, like, I'm here and I want to run with you. See ya.
And that's exactly what she did. This is like middle ground, right? She's not just started. This girl's probably been like wishy-washy for like 4 or 5 months here. And so this is what she said: when you're ready, I'm here. I know you can do this when you're up for it. So rising them up, I'm here when you're ready. I'm not quitting on you. Like, this is your choice. I'm here for you. Like, to me, that is the best way to go about this and to navigate it, is to not create shame and to just be like, I'm here, I'm ready. So that is how I would do it. Okay, I need to move this bar. Does someone know how to move it? Oh, come on. Someone smart. Tell me how to move the top bar. Oh, okay. I did it. It's still in the way. Okay. Okay. I can't wait to see you on the call tonight. Love that. I actually don't remember who did this one. I can't wait to see you on the call tonight. Oh yeah, what time is it again? Hubby might be home late tonight. Again, they're not prioritizing it. Not abnormal, right? 8:15. Thankfully, these calls are mom friendly. So often I've had my kids in the tub and my camera is off. And my sponsors have told me over and over, if I want to be successful, I have to show up. You got this. Guys, it's just another way to rise them up and to just assume they're going to do the thing that's best for them. And also that was working on their objection. It's building their belief. Hey, I've done that. I've been in that season and this is how I figured it out. So they're basically teaching them how to figure it out. Here's another one. Okay, I'm going to try and move these so y'all can like see, but it's kind of hard. Okay, they sent in the cash graphic. Okay, here's the November incentives. What level do you want to aim for? I love these questions, y'all. The ones people that sent these, like these are really good questions. 9, but realistically, I'll stick with 3. Why would someone say that? Not realistically, I'll just stick with 3. Why would somebody say that?
They don't believe in themselves.
They don't believe in
Yeah.
themselves
I was gonna
At
say fear of failure for sure.
for sure. So how would y'all respond to that? I will tell
would
y'all,
use-
I'll never forget, really fast, and then I would love to hear y'all respond. I remember Jessica Heffley telling us that when Ryan Evans told her goal of being silver, like by December, and it was like February, she messaged her and she said, girl, we could get you silver in a week. We need to reevaluate those goals because I know what you're capable of. And that rose her up. And so if it were me, I'd probably be like, okay, well, let's talk about this. I'm going to call you later this week and I'm going to tell you why I know you can get 9. That's probably what I would do, especially if this was somebody that was newer that hasn't been making excuses for a long time. What about y'all?
I would, I did tell her the same thing. I said, let's
was
get on a
Katie.
call. This is fine. Let's get on a call on Friday night. And in the meantime, get your list of 20 revitalized. So she kind of has homework to do before we meet on Friday.
And I love that. That's a great tip, by the way, you guys. If somebody is a walker or they don't have belief in themselves yet, give them a little homework. Hey, work on your list of 20. And on Friday, we're going to get together and I'm going to help you message them. And if they don't have it done by then, that's your opportunity as a leader to be like, okay, cool. Why don't, it's not done yet. That's totally fine. We're not inducing shame here. This is a volunteer army. Hey, why don't you work on that this weekend and we'll try again Monday. Good night, girls. So that is personally what I would have done, exactly what Katie did. Okay, I love this one. This one happened in our November thread. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, we're rising this girl up because I know what she's capable of. So she said, possibly Wednesday, we were talking about power hours and we had the whole list last week, right? And we were talking about which ones are you going to be on? And this is what she said, possibly Wednesday nights. I'm back to work this week and I have many activities planned for over the weekend. Okay. What would you respond in a way that's like, you're cutting yourself short? You already know that this is an excuse. What would you say? Oh, I clicked it. Okay, now y'all know. Now y'all know what I said. I didn't mean to click it. You're an excellent problem solver. I know you'll figure it out. This schedule puzzle, you'll figure out this schedule puzzle to make sure you have time for this job and your other job and to play. That is what I said back to her. And guess what her response back was? Rechecked my schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Power hours I'll be on. You guys, I knew she could figure it out. I knew she could. She just had to try a little bit. And she did.
I wanted to share something about this because I think the coolest part of this is the end when she says anyone else. It was like she wanted to then go empower others because she just solved that problem and saw that she could make it possible and wanted others to see that, like, go do the same thing. I thought that was so cool.
I did too. Yeah. Hold on, I'm reading your comment really quick, Haley. Sometimes I have a fear of letting my leader down. So I think holds people back from making. Oh, it totally does. People feel like they're letting people down all the time. I have a level 1 that I love dearly, and she tells me that all the time. I feel like I'm letting you down. And I say exactly what Emily just said. This is your business. I love you. All I am here to do is help you to where you want to go. The rest is on you. And so you are not alone. People definitely feel that way. And that is a perfect segue. I keep moving this because I'm hoping this is going to anyway. What is your fear around letting your level 1 walker walk while you go run? Let me give you an example. Okay. So let's say you've got a level 1 that you believe in fully, like you really believe in them. You know what they're capable of. Like I said in the beginning, right? I just want to jump in their body and I know what you're capable of. I know how much influence you can have. I know how many people you can touch. Like I know, stop doubting yourself, right? But they are choosing to walk. So what is your fear around just letting your level 1 walk while you go run?
Leaving them behind.
Leaving them behind, helping them feel excluded. Yes, for sure. Feeling like you didn't do something that could have helped them. I didn't help them in their way. Yep. Them leaving, getting away. Yeah. They feel alone and quit. What is the opposite of you? Okay. If you were to sit there with them and stay in that place and keep pouring time and time and time, you guys, that is doing you a disservice. It is your job to go show them what's possible. It's your job, our job, to not only show them what's possible, but show them that we can do hard things. Show them that we can go be successful. Show them and go learn new things, new tricks, go do more coaching calls with more people and get better. So the time when they're ready to run, you are a better coach for them. If you stay in the same space with them, it is hard. This is the hardest thing I have to do in this entire business. I'm not a pro at it. I'm just telling you it's hard, and I've had the exact same fears as y'all. Does anybody have any comments about that? Because I don't have this perfect recipe. I just know that it has to be done. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I'm gonna wait for a minute because this is a hard one.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I've been doing Plexit, the business, for about 6 months. And I previously did another MLM company. And the biggest difference that I get from Plexus or from our team is just our leaders are amazing. I feel included in every single thing. I've never had this much support in doing a business. And I can tell you, I jumped literally from figuring out if I was going to still continue my other business to jump into Plexus from one day to the next, just because of the amount of support that I got. So your girl could literally move from one completely different company to Plexus and vice versa if they're not feeling supported and loved and just encouraged and all of the things, because I am proof of that. So
I am her. Yeah. And loving people, just because you keep growing, you're not pouring time and time and time, does not mean you don't love them. It goes back to that list, right? We are still telling them what they're capable of. We are still loving them. We are still inviting them to our community. We are still doing everything. They are in our threads. They are a part of what we've created. They're choosing not to run, right? And so it is hard.
I think the hardest part for me with a walker is when their words don't align with their action. As I think in their brain, they think I'm a jogger. They may even think I'm a sprinter. But everyone knows that they're walkers. And so for me personally, I've had a couple over the years, and I think the best thing that I could have done, one of my favorite quotes is, there's no such thing as tough love. It's all just love. And I have had to have some tough love type of conversations. Of course, let's gauge the person, right? And let's gauge kind of this scenario. But I think the best thing that I could have done for my walkers was have that, I love you. I'm here, all the things, I believe in you. Here's what you're capable of. Here's what I know you're capable of because you've shown it. But your words aren't aligning with your actions. And so if you wanna walk, that's fine. I still love you. And I don't say like you're getting less of my attention, right? But my
Like a
actions
slow fade.
then- right. There's a little bit of a fate, like a bless and
Yeah.
release a little bit. But that also, a lot of them tend, when I kind of release them, they tend to get more into action. Kind of like, well, wait a second. What is this? Like, Callie's not holding my hand anymore. And if they don't get into right, absolutely, Emily, it's FOMO. And if they don't get into action, they probably leave. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to hold someone's hand for 5 years. You know, that's just me. And so, dare I say weed them out? Sorry, that sounds so bad, but like, kind of, you know, like if you're not here for the long haul, then like you're wasting your own time. You're wasting your family's time. I've said that 100 times. Like, okay, your husband's mad that you're on another team call. Well, because your words aren't aligning with your actions, you know? So there's my perspective.
Yeah. And I really do think like there are people that will be with you for the next year and 2 years and 10 years. And all they want, I mean, and y'all, senior gold's great. Maybe that's what they want, senior gold. And that's all I want. And I think the key here is helping them know that, okay, this is what you want. This is where you are. And that's okay. But like, this is where I'm going. And so that's where the actions and their feet in their mouth are doing two separate things. And so I totally agree with you. And you know what? There's going to be people on y'all's teams that are gold, senior gold, silver that will be here forever. And there's also people that are gold that maybe quit and they come back because you loved them and you gave them grace and there was no shame. And so all of that is so correct. You are very correct. I got to move this because I got to see my thing. Okay. What if my level 1 is a walker, but my level 2 wants to run? Anybody? I'm going to try and go faster. Anybody ever had this in the chat where you had a level 1 that is a walker, or maybe they're just not present at all, and then their level 1 is ready to run? Has anybody ever had that? I'm looking in the chat now. Yes. Okay. This is where tap rooting comes in. I love tap rooting. And you know, this is not something that you do out of spite to your level 1. This is simply something you do to connect with people who want to go. And if you have somebody that wants to go on your levels 2 or 3 and their level 1 is just not into it, and you've asked them the question like, hey, are you wanting to run with us? Because your level 1 is really wanting to run. And they're like, no, I'm not really wanting to run right now. And that's like, okay, cool. You just gave me the green light. And so I'm going to treat that person like my level 1. And so there's a couple of different ways this might look. Maybe your level 1 was working for a while and maybe that they pulled back. Maybe it was a life event. I don't know. Whatever happened, they pulled back. And that is an opportunity for you to go look at their team and just treat them like a level 1 so that when your level 1 comes back, their team is thriving. And I think that is a blessing. And you know what? There's been seasons where Cassandra has had to pull my weight because I've had a baby or, you know, life happened. And I was so thankful for that, right? And so that is an opportunity for you to do that. Tap rooting can also look like maybe you have a brand new level 1 and they are adding to their team and they have no clue what they're doing. How many's ever had that? You had a level 1, they're adding to their team and they're like, just kind of doing random things. There's no system and it's very sporadic and it's great. But like, I view that level 1 as more of like a referral source than a business builder. Okay. And so I go treat their people like my level 1s. I go connect with them, ask them how their products are doing. I share the business with them. And if they want to run, that's my opportunity to go to their level 1 and be like, hey dude, you got a girl, she's ready to run. She's ready to go. Do you want to go? Like, she's ready to go gold. Do you want to go gold too? And y'all, I love when that becomes this like momentum thing. They're both running together. Like, how cool is that? Sometimes it doesn't work that way. And so don't be afraid to go taproot into your team because it's all your team. Okay. And at the end of the day, this is all about just taking care of people and serving people. And that's it. Anybody have any questions about taprooting? read the comments before. Okay, this is not a cute slide, but I did it last minute because y'all, at the end of the day, walking with walkers and runners and joggers, it really just amounts to gratitude for me. I am grateful for every single order. I was grateful for every single order when I was gold. I am grateful for every single person that orders as a diamond. And so I have to be really conscious of the gratitude piece of that. Every order does matter. And so if somebody is not ready to run with you now, they might be later. Maybe life is going to happen and they're going to need you. Okay. So don't burn that bridge. Love on them, give them grace, but you keep running. You keep going. You can't focus right there you just can't stay there. We are leading volunteer armies. That's been said a few times. And then leaders are not born, they are made. And I'm really passionate about that because, like I said in the very beginning, I see what somebody is capable of. I can see it. I see their gifts. I see the good. I'm an eternal optimist. I can see when somebody has qualities that would just change people. And I want to help bring that out in people. And so while I do have to be protective of my time, I also really want to just make sure people understand that I love them and that I believe in them and what they're capable of, because I do believe that everybody has God-given gifts that can and will be used when they are a jewel. I really do feel like it just completes the circle. Like Callie is not like me. We have very different gifts. And I'm so thankful that I have a jewel that is not like me that can just make me better. And I believe everyone has the ability to do that. And so just treating people with this level of just gratitude and grace, and also maybe some tough love. It's not tough love. It's all just love, right? Isn't that right? Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
And in that, like, I think with the tough love, like that kind of makes my skin crawl because I hate that. But I also know like that leaders have to have hard conversations, but if they're done in love and if they're done in honesty and not shame, I think there's a lot of beauty that can come in that. But I think when we have these conversations with people, knowing that it is for them and because we believe in them and we believe that this could be just a game changer for them and their families, I think that changes our posture and the way that we talk when we might be really frustrated or really angry or really annoyed or whatever, like whatever negative emotion we have. If we can just like step back in those moments and in those conversations, like remember like why we're doing this. Like, yes, of course, we would love to like grow and have a really strong, sustainable business. But if our heart is to help that person and to have that other person's best interest in mind, then I feel like they're going to sense that and they're going to feel that. And that's going to hopefully make them want to run alongside with you. Stop the walking, stop the excuses, and run with you because they feel supported by you and they trust you and they respect you for being able to have those conversations in that manner.
Yeah. And I'm going to end with this because this is exactly what you're talking about. And it was what I was planning on ending with. And so it's actually perfect. It's basically talking about the golden rule. And then it says, if you care about people, treat them with respect and build positive relationships with them. You actually have more numerous opportunities to speak candidly and have hard conversations with them that will help them to grow and perform better. It says, care without candor creates dysfunctional relationships. Candor without care creates distant relationships. And so I just feel like this idea of caring and being honest with them. And also, y'all, you earn the respect when you keep moving your feet and going doing your thing and creating new leaders and prove to them that other people around them can do these scary things so they can too. It's the best thing you can do for them, I promise. Anything else before we hop off? I really wanted this to be 30 minutes. And so I'm really excited that it was right at 30 minutes. Anybody have comments or questions?
I'm trying to do the math here because I'm pretty sure that was 46 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. Our calls are at 8:15. All y'all were looking at me with these these like stoic faces, and no one was gonna tell me. Thank you.
Anyone can be diamond. Anyone can
Emily.
be diamond.
Bless, y'all didn't even smile. Y'all are the worst. All right. Thank y'all for doing this uncomfortable but like necessary topic tonight with me. I love y'all. I hate y'all. I love y'all. Next time I do something wrong, you can tell me. Care without candor, okay? It's a real thing. I'll see y'all later.